Thank you everyone for joining the call. Today we've got a little session on life as an international student. We've got three wonderful speakers on the line and Vlad, who's our senior recruitment and sourcing consultant. So we'll run through a bit of a presentation for you. Mukayi, Vivian and Candy will tell you a little bit about their stories. And then we'll go to a Q&A discussion piece. In the meantime, if you've got questions that you'd like to flag, just pop them in the chat, which should be to the right of your screen, and we'll get to those in the next session. Encourage you all to pop your cameras on and show your faces. We'd love to see you. But without further ado, I'll hand over to the team.
Hey guys, morning. So Candy's going to be speaking first, and then we're going to have Vivian, and then we're going to have me. So Candy, do you want to take it away?
Okay, I think Candy's having some audio issues.
Audio issues, yeah.
Yeah, so we might. Here she
give
is
her a second. She'll be okay.
Sorry, I think my connection today is not the greatest, unfortunately.
Okay, no worries. Over to
you. Cool. Okay, just making sure everyone can hear me. Yes?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great.
Yep.
I better do this quick before the connection drops out again. So, hi guys, my name is Candy, and I've joined Aurecon about 10 months ago as an undergraduate transport engineer. As well, I'm also in my final semester of studying. So I'm actually at the library right now, in between my classes. Just a bit more about my background. I came from Malaysia about 7 years ago to study in Perth. So I have a bit of time to navigate life as an international student in Australia. And today I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the challenges which I found in my recent years of study.
I think the challenge would be with the audio to start.
About taking any steps in realizing this challenge, the very first thing we need to do is to change our mindset. This was pointed out to me a few days ago, and you know what, I completely agree, which is the fact that we need to stop seeing ourselves as international student. Just because we're international student doesn't make us any less capable. We need to believe that we have just as much to offer compared to everyone else who's getting that same degree. Nothing more and nothing less. And naturally, this leads to the next question. How can we be more? How do we stand out? Next slide, please, whoever is controlling. Thank you. So based on my experience, I found that personal development is the key. So if you were anything like me, you've probably been rejected a few times for a position. And that's completely okay. It happens to all of us. But what those rejections should bring out is a key question that it should raise, is how can I improve myself? How can I be better? Because there's always things that you can work on. So I did just that. I reflected on the skills that I might be lacking, and I came out with a game plan, which specifically to work on these skills. So for example, I jump on YouTube and watch a bunch of videos on communication and presenting skills. And these are all free as well, so you really got nothing to lose there. And I also started reading about productivity, efficiency, and just anything that interests me, because reading is just a super good habit to develop yourself. And other than that, I also did some volunteering work. So I joined a charity in Perth where we help other charities in the area to better run their businesses. So although all of these are not super related to engineering, but they have no doubt made me a more rounded individual in general. So when I walked into that interview with Aurecon in July last year, I had a unique combination of experiences that I can draw on to really sell myself. And the best thing is this principle doesn't really stop. I still really enjoy developing myself today while reading, etc. And the best thing is I'm fortunate enough to join Aurecon, who also places a heavy emphasis on employee development. So even though I only go into work once a week now, because we have assignment, tutorials, exams, all those jams, but my colleagues do put in very great effort in developing me. So in teaching me the relevant skills and software and just guiding my learning in general. So I'll be more prepared to join them next year. So I guess the key takeaway from my part is to invest in yourself in whatever way you can, so that when the opportunity comes, you'll be ready to catch it. And that's really I guess, the key message that I'm trying to send out here. And yeah, thanks for listening. And I will pass it along to Vivian, if she's here.
Yep.
Great.
Thanks, Candy. Hi all, my name is Vivian, and I just wanted to give a quick introduction before I started talking about my lessons learned as well. So I came from Venezuela 5 years ago, and I did my undergraduate degree as chemical engineering at UNSW in Sydney. But then I found an opportunity to move to Adelaide. So I joined Aurecon in Adelaide, and I'm working now as a graduate process engineer. So if you can pass it to the next slide, please. So finding work as an international student, this is a topic I wanted to talk about because I know that there's a lot of uncertainties about where can we work and where are the places that we can be accepted. So I just wanted to give you a little story. As a background, when I started my second year at uni, I started applying for placements because it's mandatory and you have to do it to finish your degree. So I started applying to the popular places, the places that I was interested in and all of that. And sadly, I was just getting rejection after rejection after rejection. So my challenge was that I was being rejected out of every place I was applying, and I was just trying the conventional method. So just applying through the company's website and doing, filling up an application, and that's it. And I was getting rejected all the time. So then my solution to that problem, because I only had a few months to complete my placement, is that I was trying to think outside the box and see what else could I do to find that mandatory placement, because at the end of the day, I needed it to finish my degree. And then I started talking to the career advisors at my university, and they were really, really helpful. They recommended me to use some unconventional tools such as LinkedIn. And they were really helpful in guiding me through the whole process. And at the end, I found a placement using LinkedIn. So literally just looking for the right people, talking to the right person can get you that placement that you're needing and that job that you're needing. So my lessons learned from that story is that if traditional doesn't work, then try some unconventional tools. There's so many tools right now and so many ways that we can communicate with each other. Don't give up on your first rejection. You're gonna get rejected a lot, and that's completely normal. That's okay, and that's just gonna teach you the more lessons and more things that you can improve on to be able to stand out from the other people that are applying for jobs, and use the tools that your university gives you. With the career advisors, they're great. They read your resume, they can read your cover letters, and they can really help you and give you some really useful tips about how employers like to, what should you write about yourself that they will like. So I'm gonna pass it on to Mukayi now. That's all good?
Yeah, thank you, Vivian. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mukayi. So I'm going to talk a bit about my experience of starting a job in unprecedented times. So in my case, that's during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of background on myself. So I'm originally from Zimbabwe, and I grew up with my little brother and my parents. And I moved to Australia in 2015 to pursue a degree in civil engineering at the University of Newcastle. The reason I chose Australia is because I've never been here before, so it was kind of exciting to be in a place that I'd never, be in an environment that was different. I graduated in December of last year, and in March I was offered a job at Aurecon, and I've been working there for the past 6 months. Next slide, please, Kelly. So I had 2 interviews prior to being offered a position in the geotech team at Aurecon. I was extremely excited and almost in disbelief. And as soon as I was offered the job, I called my parents and we had a mini congratulatory screaming session for about 5 minutes. I was due to start at the end of March, but as you know, that was the same time the COVID-19 pandemic situation began to escalate. So my start date was pushed back by a few weeks. So I started in April instead. Next slide, please. In that time, waiting to start working at Aurecon, I had a lot of emotions running through my head. I was nervous about starting a new job and nervous about whether I'd do well. I was also nervous about starting a new job in such an uncertain time and what that meant for me as an international person. Was I going to have to go home? Would this impact my graduate visa application? Will I ever get to see my family again? But with feeling nervous, I was also very excited to start working as a geotechnical engineer, excited for what the future might hold for me, excited to meet new people. I was also very grateful to have found a position after finishing my degree. There were so many things running through my head, but my recruiter at the time, Vlad, who's on the line with us right now, was very helpful. He kept me in the loop regarding my position, and also would just end the call with just like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Like just during the whole COVID-19 pandemic, and just like asking me how I was feeling, which I felt very comforting and very supportive of him. Next slide, please, Kelly. So on my first week, the office was pretty much empty. It was just me and my line manager and the admin leader. And it was pretty much like that for the whole week, because that's when lockdown had just started, with maybe the addition of maybe 2 or 3 other people. But yeah, it was just basically the 3 of us in there for my entire week in the office. And I only started to meet some of my coworkers in person in July when the office was open back up to just a few people at a time. And I started working from home the next week. And so in my first week, there was a lot of onboarding, and the onboarding is basically where I learned about the existing culture and operations of Aurecon. And this was a very great experience for me because it helped me learn a lot about Aurecon, and it helped me identify what skills I could bring to the company, as well as skills I wanted to develop. And it just helped me find where I fit in and how I could help bring Aurecon's initiatives to life. In this process, I was also introduced to Aurecon's flexible work arrangements, which I believe are very beneficial. Because, for example, if you have a personal appointment to attend to in the middle of the day, or you have to pick up your children if you have kids, and just other random things that pop up, unexpected things that pop up, you can always go and do them. So I know some people who start their work days at midday, and then they work into the night, so maybe end at 8 p.m. if that's what they prefer. And so all you do is you kind of had a set number of hours for the week, and you just you fit your timetable around those number of hours. Next slide, please, Kelly. During these uncertain times, Aurecon provided me with a lot of support. There's a very big focus at Aurecon on preserving people's mental health. And during my time at Aurecon, there are a lot of fun things that they provided us with to ensure that we are not only staying connected with ourselves, but are also relaxed and calm just throughout the working from home period, which is still ongoing. So a couple of my personal experiences, they ran a yoga series during lunch to ensure people were taking their lunch breaks and not overworking themselves. There's also an ongoing coffee roulette where you're given someone from the office that you should have a catch up with each month. And this helped me meet a few people in my office. I also have a great team run by a great line manager and other senior leaders in our greater NSW team. They've helped me connect with people within the team, as well as aided in just helping me find my footing at Aurecon. There's also a big focus, and Candy also touched on this a little bit, on training. And this is great as it helps you develop a lot of skills pertaining to your discipline. And I've learned a lot in my time at Aurecon so far. And I feel very supportive of my colleagues. They're always willing to answer my questions. And my line manager always takes time to talk to me and find out how I'm going with everything, even when he's in back-to-back meetings all day. All in all, I find Aurecon a very enabling environment where I can get all the support I need in order to progress and be the best engineer I can be. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Really good stories, and I think each of you have overcome some hurdles along the way, but you've made it and you found a nice place to be.